right, all right, all right. Okay.
Is it okay?
All right. You're welcome back, sir.
Okay.
All right. Could you
It's
turn your camera to be in a horizontal position? Could you do that for me? Yeah, it's working. It's working, but could you turn your camera at a horizontal position? All right. All right. So let's start with let's go into the interview immediately. Let's start with alarming. Uh, the report claims that are under threat or controlled by uh, armed Fulani herders. Now, how did the organization collate this data? Did you hear me, Mr. Mabalash?
Are you done? Yeah, you
Oh,
done?
yes. Yes, I'm done.
Well, I think in the past 15 years, the entire society is known to me as we are very, very skillful when it comes to research and investigation. Our reports may be long in pagination, but then that is what we stand for. We are contributing towards mental creativity and mentalization on logic and critical thinking. Therefore, our work are always research-based. Coming to your question, yes, we have been doing that for the past 15 years too. Inter Society, 2 years since 2 years after our formation, because Inter Society was founded in 2008, that is 2008. And we started monitoring the patterns and trends of Fulani herdsmen activities across Nigeria since 2010, when Inter Society came on board. But since 2005, during the time of my chairmanship of the Civil Liberties Organization in Anambra State. So it has been there, the records are there. So coming to the Southeast, we are not only, our research and investigation are not only restricted to the Southeast, but you know there is a popular saying that charity begins at home. We have tons of documents on Fulani herdsmen, on jihadism in Nigeria, on the role of the state structure. Hello? Yeah,
All right, I'm still there.
Is it okay? Do we continue?
Continue, sir, please. Continue.
So that is the thing. So we have tons of the several documents abound on the work we have done with respect to the subject matter you just presented. So coming to the Southeast, so we have networks, we have contacts, we have a lot of volunteers, we have people who assist, we have self-made volunteers, we have research field assistants, we have collaborations with a lot of organizations, Christian leaders, Muslim leaders, like leaders of Shiite Islamic movement in Nigeria or Shiite. We stood up strongly behind them during their travail, even up to now, and so on and so forth, because we envision a society where there should be a harmonious and peaceful coexistence. If you are a Muslim, Muslim can exist and live side by side with Christian, and so on and so forth. We don't want a situation where it's a religious group will take a bloody predominance over another. So if that is what we envisioned, So this time around, it has to do with our southeast region. We've done that of South-South. We have spoken, reason in strong defense of persecuted Christians in Middle Belt, in Northeast Taraba, in Kebbi State, in Kaduna, in Borno, in Niger State. It's very interesting to know that there are 6 local government areas in Niger State that are predominant Christian, but today they are uprooted. Talk of Paikoro, Munya, Shirolo, Rafi, and what have you, local government area. So we're all over the place. We can have very powerful network and contacts. Have even gone beyond Nigeria. During the time of Trump administration, he copiously quoted inter-society during his press conference. That is first tenure of Trump. The defense secretary of defense, secretary of state, and what have you, European bishops and things like that. We have allies in the UK Parliament up to now, and so on and so forth. So that data you saw is not a manipulative data. It's not. It's data that was well grounded. You know, mentioning villages are there. For instance, if we saw what we have done is an advancement, a build-up from the data we collected across the Southeast in 2021. If you look at that research work, you will see the link there. Villages, locations were mentioned. We just updated, upgraded. We are in the know of how many Judo-Trado-Christian communities, autonomous communities you have in Igbo land. Unfortunately, I can tell you that 70% of Igbo people are not even aware of the total number of communities in Igbo land. But we have them. State by state breakdown, Anambra 183, Enugu 190, Ebonyi 96, Imo 700, Abia 771, and so on and so forth. And we also in the know of local government areas across those states already saturated or under the threat of saturation, of Fulani jihadis, armed jihadis, Fulani herdsmen, and allied others. So the research work is very authentic and graphically grounded. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Some of us would still be, they still had to believe the scale of these attacks, or okay. Can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly. I can hear you clearly. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Ahead. All right. Okay. So I was asking that some people would still be alarmed at the scale of these occupational attacks. They would say, is this report inflated or what? So are there specific pieces of evidence that you can share with us so that to convince some of the people that this report is genuine, that this report is conducted, well researched? Are there specific pieces of experiences?
You take a careful look.
Villagers and all that.
Take a careful look at the wording of that report. Take a careful look at wording. We never said that 700 to 800 Igbo communities are already under attack. We said they are under occupation or threat of the same. I will give you an instance. If you talk about it today, it's flooded with Fulani herdsmen. If you talk about it, it's flooded with Fulani herdsmen. It's in Anambra State. So,
Anambra State.
In Anambra State, for instance, behind the Zone 13 of Nigerian Police Force, at Ukpo, behind it, there is a big Fulani settlement there. Courtesy of one of the allegedly custody of one of the billionaires in Anambra State and his allies. Now, about 2 years ago, a couple, that is husband and wife, and their daughter, who returned for the burial, traditional wedding ceremony of their daughter, were waylaid and taken into that Ukuru forest in Dunukopia local government area. In there, they were raped for 3 days. They were raping the wife, the daughter, and the man. Fulani men were raping the guy, the man. Other set of Fulani men were raping the woman and her daughter. Now what happened? After 3 days of hostage, their in-law to be mobilized 15 million naira. That happened in 2023. And a certain commissioner had the outcry of the couple after they were freed. And they assisted them in raising an SOS alarm or letter to the governor of Anambra State. Now, on receiving the letter, the governor instructed his chief press secretary to go to media and castigate the couple. Now, without assisting the couple, without inviting the couple to government house to have their own side, what happened? The chief press secretary to the governor went to the media and started lambasting the couple, defending the Fulanis that they are not sure of what happened to them. Now, the anger was what? Because they mentioned vividly that the attack on them was perpetrated by Fulani herdsmen. I think the government of Anambra State would have felt differently or even come to their rescue if they had labeled the attack, rooted the attack to the doorstep of unknown government or ESN or IPOB. So that tells you, so there are so many instances. And when we do this report takes a period of 10 years, 2015 to 2025, exactly May 2015 to May 2025, that is 10 years, if not more than 10 years. That's the period of the coverage of the report, this report. So I told you that report was built on already existing data that we collected as far back as 2020 and 2021. Let me give you the rundown. By 2015, June 2015 or May 2015, there were little or minutest number of Fulani herdsmen settlements in Igbo land and the Fulani herdsmen. We are not saying that Fulani herdsmen used to come here during the dry season to pasture their cows and what have you. At the beginning of rainy season, they would go back to their base in the north. But at a point, during the time of the regimentation of Fulani herdsmen, then the radical Islamists in the country, including those within the political and military and other security establishments, now hijack the Fulani herdsmen and their network and their pattern of grazing and have it terrorized and militarized. Now, that was how, in order for them to achieve their southward and middle beltward jihadist conquest projects. That's exactly what happened. So as I was saying, by 2015, there were not up to 5 settlements of Fulani herdsmen and the Fulani herdsmen or jihadist Fulani herdsmen in Igbo land, particularly the southeast. But by 2019, as at August 2019, the number of settlements surprisingly rose to 139. Then 52 locations were identified in Enugu. That link to that report we did in 2021 will help you. You will see communities there. Then Anambra was involved also. Imo was involved. Abia was involved. Ebonyi was involved. I think then Abia has the least number with 7 locations. Then some part of Delta State, Igbo Delta State, were also captured. Then, as if that was not enough, by mid-2020, the number increased to 350. As if that was not enough again, by May 2021, the number increased to 700, including locations identified in Igbo, non-southeast Igbo areas, like Igbo part of Delta, Igbo part of Edo, some Igbo part of Kogi, some Igbo part of Benue, some Igbo part of Nasarawa, some Igbo part of Rivers, and so on and so forth. So from there, the number continued to increase up to this level now. Now, there are 1,940 autonomous communities in the Southeast, like I said. If you study that report, you see. Enugu State presently hosts the most saturated Fulani herdsmen and the Fulani herdsmen saturated locations in the Southeast. Enugu State. Am I communicating, sir? Hello?
I hear you. Go on. I speak on. I can hear you.
Okay, so Enugu State presently has the highest number of locations saturated. And in terms of location, we found out that location doesn't mean one armed Fulani herdsmen location per community. In some communities, you will see up to 3 or 4 Fulani herdsmen locations in one community. That is why the number of locations there outnumbered the number of the affected communities. So out of these 1,940 Igbo communities, Fulani herdsmen settlements locations are estimated to have been found. That is location and threat of, settlement and threat of settlement on location. That's what I mean. It's either that they are already occupied the place already, or some places already, or that they are in a verge of occupying the place. I will still come to that. So you have that up to 770 to 800 locations, communities are affected. And we went as well as identifying the most affected local government areas, for instance. Enugu has 17 local government areas. Fulani herdsmen has saturated communities across not less than 12 or 14. I can't recall. It's there in your record. If I made a mistake, you correct me, because nobody's a computer. Then you go to Anambra State. Anambra here is a state with 21 local government areas. Fulani herdsmen have made inroads in not less than 12. The funny aspect of it is that some communities or natives of the communities may not even be aware that Fulani herdsmen are in their community. For instance, in Obadu local government area, they have 16 communities. I think 16, yes, 16 communities, either 16 or 14. Fulani herdsmen are hidden in swamps. You have a swamp, a big swamp in Obadu that has binds 3 local government areas. That should be Idemili South, Ihiala, and what is this one in Orifite? What is it called? Ekusigo. 3 or 4. That's swamp in Obadu. Then there is an island, Obalu Island, or the apex to Kosaba Island, and River Niger. If you go there, you see the high number of Fulani herdsmen. Then it is from there there have been reported attacks across various communities in Obadu, either in the past or they are still living in fear right now. And of course, you know why it is like that. There is a naval outpost in Obadu. Because one thing we notice is that whenever you have a major military formation, either naval base, air force base, or army base, or barrack, or mobile police formation, like squadron, there is likelihood of Fulani herdsmen roaming around or about in such vicinities. Let me give you some other instance. If you go to Imo State, Owerri is where Obinzeni Owerri is where 34th Brigade of Nigerian Army is located. That area has recorded one of the highest attacks against travelers and what have you by Fulani herdsmen. That Obinze forest and the adjoining others. If you go to Ohafia military cantonment, 14th Brigade Ohafia, the same thing. From there, stretched to Asa in either Okwa East or West, to Ogwe and many communities in that area. They have become the den of Fulani herdsmen attack. These are the areas we have visited in the past, particularly between 2020 and now. We have also visited Osihitokwa, and saw what is happening there. The service Fulani herdsmen and soldiers of Nigerian Army. You know, at Ohafia, for instance, Google your internet, you will see. The Nigerian Army has labeled at a point, labeled the Ezogos, the traditional rulers of Ohafia Kingdom, of being facilitators of training ground for ESN and IPOB. Why? Because the ESNs in that place refused to accept Nigerian Army arrangement, Nigerian Security Forces arrangement to cede their land for Fulani herdsmen settlement. If you go to Agwa clan is located, is made up of about 6 autonomous communities. Kuta local government. If you go to Agwa clan, the same thing. If you go to where is this oil area in Ohajegbema, that there is one community that produces oil in Ohajegbema. I don't know why I've forgotten that name. If you go to that place, a popular community because it has been wrecked, by violence, a continuous military bombardment and militancy and what have you. In that community, the root cause of the problem in that community is attempt to designate places in that area for Fulani herdsmen settlement. If you go to Ogu, that happened about 2-3 years ago, the same thing. Fulani herdsmen and people said no, they will not allow Fulani herdsmen to settle in their land, and the military started attacking them. If you go to Egudene, that is in Igbo Central language, it is called Agudene. In Nkanu East local government area, the same thing. There is a big forest in Nkanu East binding 3 communities, Egudene, Oruku, and one other. It's a very big forest. It is called Ohia Atonshi Forest. That is in Igbo Central language, it is called that is deity, forest of the deities. Ohia Atonshi, they call the way their dialect, Aronsi is called Atonshi. Agu is called Egu. So Egu Dene in that particular community. The traditional ruler of that community is one of the most attacked traditional rulers in the east, in the southeast up to today. Who are the attackers? The Nigerian military, the Nigerian police crash squad. One frame up after the other. Their community has been converted as a ground for IPOB, ESN trading camps. That's the community we are talking about. What happened in 2020 March? They got their youth, informed their leaders that Fulani herdsmen have infiltrated that big forest. They now mobilize and march out Fulani herdsmen. 2-3 days later, the Nigerian army came and they commanded all their leaders, including traditional leaders, to appear before their market square and started asking them, what happened? Who drove out these people? They said, it is not their land, it is their own. They said, oh, those people must come back. And any attempt to drive them out, then all of you, all your use will not be labeled as. In fact, you people have become, that forest is a camp where ESN and the IPOB hide to do their training. That's the problem of today. You can go on and on and on and cite examples. Now, generally, in conclusion, Anambra State used to be the second most saturated state with saturated Fulani and Fulani herdsmen location. Anambra State. Now, all these Fulani herdsmen and Fulani herdsmen we are talking about, you won't see them in the daytime. I'm referring to your question whether some people who are still having doubt, who are still doubting Tamosis. You will not see them in the daytime. They move at night. They are called the people of the forest in Nigeria, just like Ijaw people are called people of the river. They move at night under the protection of security forces, particularly the military. That's what is going on. So you won't even see them. When they move into your forest, your community forest and settle them, you won't settle there, you won't even know. So as it stands, Anambra used to be the second state with saturated Fulani herdsmen and Fulani herdsmen location. But I don't know what happened, whether magically or by God. Anambra State has been presently relegated to third the largest. And the place of Anambra State has been taken over by Imo State. After Imo, you have Abia. If you go to Abia State, by Umunochi local government area, for instance, ask anybody you know there. Greater number of their communities, I think about 10 or 12 communities in Umunochi, Lamala, Levi, Ndiawa, this, that, and what have you, Nochi. All of them are under the bondage of the Fulani. Law Panther, all those people. Law Panther, at a point, their alarm was raised that by the next 10 years, they were indiscriminately impregnating their young girls and their young women. You have a lot of children born of Fulani ethnic group in Law Panther and Lady than any other place in Igbo land as we speak. So that is the situation, my brother. So Anambra is the second now. I mean, Anambra is the third. Enugu is the first. Imo the second. In Imo, you have out of 27 local government areas in Imo. You have Fulani herdsmen influence or occupation in at least 14. In Enugu, like I say, out of 17, you have Fulani herdsmen influence or occupation in at least 12 or 14. I can't recall vividly, but it's there in the record. In Anambra State, with 21 local government areas, you have Fulani herdsmen influence in at least 12. I'll give you the numbers of local government areas. Obari is one of them. Oka South is one of them. Oka North is one of them. Durukopia is one of them. What do you call Oyi is one of them. Anambra East is there. Anambra West is there. Aya Merimi is there. Orumba North and South is there. And somehow, if not all of them, somehow, even I'm sure if you check why, you will see that Iyala is not likely to have been exempted. And then Jikoka. So count it. You have it. So if you go to in Enugu, you have Oji River, Igwe the north, Igwe the south, Isuso, also one, Ogu, Udi, Ezago, and so on and so forth. Enugu East, Enugu West, and what have you. Yeah, so count how many now. Then Aniri, these are places. So now you go to Imo State, both Onimo and Okigwe, and so on and so forth. They are there in the record, no need of wasting time. Then if you go to Abia, so many of them, including Obingwa, is there Aba South, Aba North, Isialangwa South, Isialangwa North, and so on and so forth, Umunochi, to mention but a few. In Ebonyi, they are there in about under the influence or occupation in about 6 local government areas, excuse me, in Ebonyi State, including Onitsha, Izi, Iza, Ohuku, what is the name of that that place under this the one that borders share border with the Hamufu. They are there about 6, and so on and so forth, and the communities affected are there. So my brother, that is the position now. So it's not just from the statistics I've given out. You now know that we are not joking. I tell you, that was the report we did 4 or 5 years ago, and people were calling us names. Then, funny enough, recently, I don't know somebody, the person that went and dusted up that thing, and we started receiving a barrage of calls. Calls were coming to us in torrents, asking us, comrade, Mental Society, thank you for your good work. Oh. Look, my area is not included. Oh. I have some communities in my area, like somebody who WhatsApp us from Oge in a Zag. He mentioned about 6 locations on the Oge. I don't know. Are we still there? Ah, it's like I placed my hand somewhere.